Hey everyone, I'm Kevin with Victory 4x4. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the installation of our rear window MOLLE panel for the 80 series Land Cruiser and Lexus LX 450. So we're going to begin by installing our top mounting bracket. For that, you're going to have to get this factory grab handle out of the way. You'll just need a small pry tool of some sort to remove the two covers here, and then a Phillips screwdriver to remove the two factory screws. Then you can install the upper mounting bracket. You'll want the vertical slots in this bracket to line up with those two factory holes, and then the grab handle can be placed back over top, and you can install that with the two longer 6mm button heads from your bolt pack. You can tighten these most of the way up with a 4mm hex. You do want to leave this just a little bit loose for now so that you have some vertical adjustability when we're installing the panel. Next, you can install the two mid-mounting brackets. These are going to install right here and here with the factory seatbelt mounting bolts. You'll want to install this bent bracket at the rear, and then the round hole is what we'll install with that factory seatbelt bolt. You'll want these smaller slots facing in toward the panel. You should just need a small pry tool to pop the covers free, and then using a 15mm socket, you can remove that bolt. So here on the back of this seatbelt bolt assembly, you're going to have this small retaining washer that you can pull off, followed by a split washer and a spacer washer. You'll then install the panel mounting bracket and then reinstall those in reverse order. Then this whole assembly can be threaded back into the vehicle. So I am going to leave this as well as the front one here just a little bit loose until we get the panel installed for a little extra compliance. So then we'll just repeat that same process on this forward seatbelt bolt using this flat mounting bracket. So once you have those three brackets in place, you can grab your MOLLE panel, make sure the Victory logo is toward the rear of the vehicle, and then you'll just place it over top of the brackets here and begin installing it with the provided 1/4-20 button heads and serrated flange nuts from your hardware pack. So if these back windows do function on yours, you can always open that up and this becomes a little bit easier, but there should be plenty of room to reach through and install these nuts on the back side. After you have the panel hanging on those three brackets, you can basically set the height at this point. You're pretty much looking for the top edge of this to run parallel to the top edge of the window. You can also reference both of these brackets as they should pretty much run parallel as well once you have it in the proper location. Then you can go ahead and tighten this upper mounting bracket. Followed by both of the seatbelt mounting bolts. After those are tight, you'll want to come here and make sure these 4 mounting bolts are threaded at least most of the way in so that the panel is mostly secure and not loose up here. And then we can move on to these lower brackets. So when it comes to installing these lower mounting brackets, it's going to vary just a little bit passenger versus driver's side. Over here on the passenger side, it's a little bit easier. You're going to be installing our 6mm bolts into a factory threaded hole. You do, however, just need to locate those holes so that you can drill roughly a 1/2 inch hole through your panel for our spacer and bolt to pass through. A pretty easy way we found to locate those holes is you can simply pop this panel free, thread the 2 bolts into those factory threaded holes, and then loosely reinstall the panel and press against it to create a couple little impressions on the back side to tell you where to drill. So over on the driver's side of the vehicle, you're not going to have these factory threaded holes behind here, so we can show you how to get that side installed now. So over here, you'll need to use the lower mounting brackets to locate where you're going to have to drill. You start by installing these to the back side of the MOLLE panel. Same 1/4 inch button head hardware as the previous brackets. You can kind of try to make sure that you're in about the center of the horizontal slot when you're installing these here, and the vertical slots will go down here toward the plastic. Once you have those on, you want to make sure they're mostly vertical, and then you can kind of snug them up for now. And then you're going to need about a 1/4 inch drill bit to drill through this bottom slot. You're basically going to be drilling through this panel to make a starter pilot hole, and then you're going to want to just kind of touch the sheet metal behind there with the drill bit so you make a mark, and once this is removed, you can fully drill that out to accept the Rivnut behind it. So I'm going to start by drilling pretty much right at the top of my slot here, or at least close to it. You can leave yourself just a little bit of room for adjustment. I'm kind of just pushing the panel in tight to the plastic at this point. And that should be all you need. Go ahead and do the same thing here on this back bracket. Now you can remove both of these lower brackets, and then we'll need to pop this factory trim panel out to finish our drilling and install our Rivnuts. To get this plastic trim panel out, you can start by removing the door, and then the rest of this is just held in with plastic clips. So you can start at one edge, work your way all the way around, and pop those free. If you have something happen like I just had here, the clip popped out of the plastic panel, you'll just need to make sure you get that out of the sheet metal and reinstalled in here before this goes back in. So hopefully you guys can see this here. I've got the little mark left over from my drill bit where it contacted this sheet metal through the plastic before. And I'm just going to need to finish drilling this out specifically to a 23/64 to accept the Rivnut. To get these Rivnuts installed, we're going to provide you with this little tool. Basically, you have a long 6mm bolt here, a long hex nut, followed by a washer, and then a small star washer. You can assemble it in that order, and then install the Rivnut to the end, and kind of hand tighten that. And then what you'll be doing is inserting that into the hole. You'll need to hold the tall nut with a 1/2 inch wrench, and then turn that 6mm bolt with a 10mm socket. A pretty good way we found to do this is using a 1/4 inch driver in the drill. I've got the drill set in the low setting here, And then, like I mentioned, I'm just going to hold this nut with the wrench, and then you can kind of slowly compress that Rivnut. So you'll kind of feel that slow down right there, right at the end, and gain some pressure as it compresses against the sheet metal. That's when you want to stop. You can always check it and go just a little more if need be, but the last thing you want to do at this point is pull the threads out of that nut insert. So then you can just back your tool back out and go install the other one back here. Next, I'm just going to move to my plastic panel. I'm going to use this step bit and open these up to a 1/2 inch. If you are having any alignment issues in the next step, you can always come back and open these up just a little bit more, but I'm going to start small to get the nicest, cleanest look once this is installed. So then just clean up these holes. Go ahead and make sure the provided black plastic spacers pass through there pretty easily, and adjust as needed. Now you're ready to reinstall this plastic trim panel. Once that's back in, go ahead and reinstall the lower mounting brackets. Now the bottom ends of these brackets can be secured to the vehicle by installing the small black plastic spacers through your now drilled holes in the plastic, followed by another 6mm button head bolt. With both of those started, you can make sure these two brackets are as vertical as possible and begin tightening up the rest of the hardware. Once you've finished reassembling all the interior and snapping these covers back in, your install is complete. So if you guys have any questions about this installation or any other product we offer here at Victory 4x4, feel free to reach out to us. You can give us a call at 269-459-8447 or send us an email at info@victory4x4.com.